Recently, we've been discussing that now is the time to leave America if that's something that you want to do. And the question, whenever I broach this subject, is always asked, don't you think that you have a moral obligation to stay and fight to change this country to what it needs to be? And I ask, how can you have a moral obligation to a nation that has lost any sense of morality in general? Because I think that America has become so bankrupt morally that the idea of moral obligation by the citizens to support and defend the state at this point is almost laughable. The social contract between the United States government and the people has been broken for a very long time. And as we all know, it's only going to get more difficult as time goes on. The government and corporations are going to get more rapacious, more greedy, and suck more and more and more from the people as time goes on. So what obligation do you have to your country? That's really the question. Why aren't you thinking about leaving? We talk about what America is, what it was, and how is a nation built by migrants. If you are not Native American, you are a migrant to this country, whether you like it or not. And the reason why many people migrated to this country long ago is the same reason many people are choosing to leave now. To leave an oppressive system, to find a better place to live, to find a better life, to pursue happiness at all cost. That's why people came to this country in the first place. Well, the ones who actually had a choice to come here. But I also say that America has lost any sense of identity, so how can you be morally obligated to defend a country that has no identity? Because there's no sense of what this nation even is now. It's just a birthplace, it's soil. We are not the people that we were once. We are not the colonists. We are not those who fought in the Civil War. We are not those who fought in World War I, in World War II, in Korea, in Vietnam. We are not from those old eras. We are not those same people. The America that once was is gone and is not going to come back. And that is reality. Things are subject to change in this country all the time. Corporatism and consumerism are the identity of our nation now. The identity of America has been lost and drowned out over decades of advertising campaigns and missions to make America into something that it wasn't originally meant to be. Just as so many Native American cultures and languages have faded out over the generations as they've been drowned out by a foreign culture, so too has American identity. You cannot have a moral obligation to a state that cannot define itself. America may be a nation, it may be a nation with borders, but morally it doesn't have borders. America is, if anything, a cultural empire. So to defend America itself, you have to actually understand what the culture is. But if you reject the culture, if you believe that the culture is nothing, like I said, but consumerism and corporatism, there's no reason to be morally obligated to actually defend it because there's no flag that either of these institutions actually stand behind. Corporate and consumer culture aren't defining characteristics of a people. They're just economic rules and behaviors. That's all it is. And that's what defines Americans now. In America, we have this idea when we think of what it is to actually be ourselves. We have mental images of colonists, of explorers, of those who raised the flag at Iwo Jima, of those who stood at civil rights campaigns. But we are not those people. We are not those people because we're not willing to sacrifice like those people did. We've become a toothless dog sitting on an old porch waiting to die. I feel a great sense of loss for the fact that America isn't worth defending anymore. It's not something that I feel gleefully. When I make these videos, I'm not exactly happy about the content that I put out there, because the fact is, the content that I put out there is very honest. And sometimes it takes an honest look in the mirror to bring a sobering conclusion. And that conclusion is, though you may have been born here, you have no obligation to this state anymore. Because this state has no obligation to you. Because whatever social contract there was between the people and the government is, at some point, was dissolved. And we are on our own. I wish for this country to be great. I wish for this country to be better. But by staying and fighting, what does that say? And who are my allies? And in what way do we fight? Do we fight by voting? Because we all know at this point that that does nothing. All these people are on the same side at the end of the day. Philosophically, they may be very opposed to one another, but when it comes to actually deviating from the direction that our country has been in for decades, any politician will find any true action of consequence distasteful and won't do it. This is a country that's in decline, but it isn't a country that is America. It is not the United States because we are a disunited country. I would fight for this country if it actually fought for itself. But I also say that trying to shame people for actually leaving and trying to attain the American dream in a place where the American dream may actually be attainable is actually shameful behavior on its own. And it spits in the face of your ancestors who actually migrated to America to do the exact same thing. If this is a question that you ask me when I speak on this channel about maybe people should go out there and see the world, leave America for a bit, maybe leave and don't come back, then I think that you lack a serious amount of self-awareness, really. And you don't actually know much about the country that you live in. You only believe in an illusion or a simulacra of what this country actually was. You don't actually know what this country is, because what this country is not a country at all. What this country is a corporation and a business, and you're simply an employee. I am happy to announce that I have finally convinced my wife to leave America once again. And as soon as all the legal paperwork are done, it looks like we're going back to Greece. Thank Christ, alhamdulillah, it's a great day to be alive. I'm super happy for it. And you know what? The content that's going to be coming from that place is going to be great. It's going to be great because it's a place that I love. Because Greece, unlike America, is a country that really seems to know itself. Maybe that's because the people are so drenched in culture and history that's been developed for thousands of years that they truly know who they are to a certain degree. Not like America. Our cultures and values change every 4 years. We are a nation without any direction, a nation without any sense of self, a nation without any sense of obligation or duty to the people who live in this country. The denizens of this country are left to fend for themselves in a condition where the government is always trying to take from them. So yes, we're very happy to return. And it looks like it's going to be in the fall. So hopefully we just had our last winter in the United States for the foreseeable future. If things happen in America and actual change was being pursued by people who actually rose up and tried to get this state in the order that it needs to be in, then yes, I would happily come back. I would happily join that fight. I would happily bring my voice into the argument or whatever means I have. But the fact is, the country in this state now, the people in the state that they're in now, have no hope. They have no hope. They have no duty. They have no honor. Because these things morally are dependent of living in a culture that recognize these values. And these values haven't been recognized by the United States in generations, it feels like. But yes, as we move forward in this channel, I think we're going to move a lot into economics as well as kind of gearing up and getting ready to travel. Cultural comparison, cultural analysis, things that I really enjoy and that I've been speaking of for a while. And having a base in Greece is fantastic because it really puts me in reach of so many different countries that we'll actually be able to visit, that we'll actually be able to make content from, that we'll actually be able to explore and participate in the interaction with many other peoples of this world. And that's fantastic. America, get it together and I'll come back. Because my son is a US citizen and I want this country to be the best that it possibly can be for him. Because this country is his birthright, just as it is anybody who was born in this country. But until we actually nurture this country and let it become what it is supposed to be for the next generation, and there's a concerted effort to actually make that happen, I see no reason why people shouldn't leave. Because if the American dream is dead in America to 95% of people who live here, then I think it's incumbent on those people, not just for them, but for their families, to leave this country behind and find it in another place. Like I said, if the food is poison, you don't eat the food. You go to a place where you can find proper nourishment. Go find that place. And when you are there, put your roots down and let them grow. But that's all we have for today. Thank you for stopping by. I actually don't think this is a bad thing. I think that America can change still. You know, I do actually have a deep sense of profound appreciation and hope for my country because I know my country so well and I do love it, you know? And I know it's a very flawed country with very flawed people, just like any other country on the planet. But my expectations of my nation are incredibly high because I know the potential that it has. And to see that potential be wasted hurts me in a very deep way. Not in an unpatriotic way, not in a way that I would see my country burned down and laugh about it. No, it would break my heart. As I know, it would break the heart of anyone out there who calls themselves a patriot, whether they're on the left, whether they're on the right. Nobody actually wants to burn this country down except for a few very sick people. And there are those people in power. But that's a problem that we've not recognized. And if we have recognized, we've not actually moved to deal with it because we just don't have the bravery yet because we've not struggled and suffered enough. And that's simply the reality of the situation as far as I can see it. But of course, again, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for the support. As always, if you're still here at this point, like and subscribe, leave a comment. It really helps us in the algorithm. And you know what? Get the best life you can. Get the best life you can no matter where it's at. And the haters out there, damn them. Have a good one.